What is going on, boys and girls? It's me, Ben DPB, but I have a brand new Ben Meets here. Now, I know I've been off for a couple of weeks, so apologies for that. I've been absolutely manic at work, but I am back, and I'm back with a bang. I've got a massive guest. I've got literally one of my favourite tactic guide creators out there. It is BustTheNet. How are you, sir? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for having me over, Ben.
Now, thank you for coming on, sir. It's a real honour. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I've listened to your show. It's pretty cool. You've got people coming over. You've asked them kind of some cool questions. So I'm happy to be on board. Anything to help another YouTuber.
Well, that's good. I mean, when it came to creating lists, you were in the top sort of 10 lists that had guys like you, FM Life or Troy, because I want to get guys on like you and FM Life who do guides and tactic guides and player guides and whatnot, because some people don't go onto YouTube just looking for a playthrough series. They go on YouTube just looking for a guide on how to do a certain thing. And yours and FM Live stuff is absolutely perfect for that. Not to name drop them at all. But you and FM Live are two guys that I really want to get on the show. So when you said yes, I was over the moon, sir. So thank you very much.
No, I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you, my friend. I'm going to quickly dive into it because I know it's a little bit early over there for you. It's like 3 a.m. So thank you very much for that. Now, some questions I like to start my show with are the icebreaker questions. They're fairly quick, they're fairly simple, but what's your favourite food?
My favorite food. Okay, my favorite food is wow. Okay, now it's 3 o'clock in the morning. That's a really evil question. I'm very hungry. Okay, my favorite food would be anything my mom cooks.
Oh, I like it. Very good answer. Mums are always good cooks, aren't they?
Yeah, and now I'm beginning to smell a kitchen, and she lives like about 1,000 miles away.
Because I know you're a Liverpool fan. If we look at football, are you a club versus country? Which one are you?
I am club versus country. Yeah.
In terms of your country, how do you get on in regards to the football? Are you good? Are you not so good, or
in terms of my country?
Yeah.
Well, Singapore is good, but there's a lot of things happening in the Singapore S League and the Singapore National League that they do more damage than good to themselves, the management of the league. So it's not a very good sign. Yeah.
What's your favourite TV show?
My favorite TV show, Doctor Who.
Oh, very nice. And how do you feel about the new Doctor, the first female Doctor?
I don't know the female Doctor. Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, I know they have a female Doctor, but she's like the evil twin of Doctor Who, right? So, but the new Doctor that's coming on, I don't know who the new Doctor is because the Christmas break will announce it. So the Christmas show is going to announce it because the latest Doctor, he just kind of like, regenerated.
I've just spoiled it. They've already announced a new Doctor. It's a lady.
I
Sorry.
don't know that.
Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Oopsie daisy. Moving on swiftly. What's your favourite film?
It's the last time you're coming on your show, man.
Sorry, man. I didn't know.
Yeah, my favorite film. Well, it's got to be okay. You don't know what the ending of the next Star Wars movie is, right?
No. Oh no, I'm not going to let this down, am I? You've been a busy man. I mean, you've been in YouTube for a couple of years. You've wrote a couple of books, I believe, as well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about A, how you got into YouTube in the first place, and B, a little bit about your books?
Well, I think I got into YouTube entirely by accident, 2015, somewhere around there. It was FM17 and the ball-winning midfielder. People were having an issue with the ball-winning midfielder because I was seeing a lot of threads on the forums, and I figured I needed to show it visually to people that the ball-winning midfielder has a large closing down area. So I created a short little video and I stuck it up. And the next thing I know, people started asking me about more roles, and I started doing more of them. And eventually I realized that, well, I've been writing for years now. I mean, I've been writing for a really long time on the forums, and it's almost always the same thing. Every single year I say the same stuff. I've been saying the same stuff since 2003. That's when I joined the forums. And the game hasn't, in terms of the match engine or the way you play the game, it hasn't really changed that much. So I wanted to, I figured that perhaps I could just take everything that I know and do it in a YouTube style thing. And when I first started, it was like really stumbling over the line, doing stuff, banging my head against the wall because I was doing stuff I wanted to do. So yeah, so I wrote a couple of guides, did a couple of stuff. If you listen to any of my earlier videos, they're like some of the audio levels were horrible. And, I mean, I was like, and then my brother-in-law came to stay with us in the house, and I was kicked into the hall, and I went, oh my god, now the audio levels are worse. Then I was like, oh, what am I doing this for? And then after a while, I realized that there was a community out there that really wanted the stuff, and I decided, well, okay, I was already thinking, I wanted to leave something behind because, I've been on the forums for so long, and there are not many of us left, to be honest. The ones who have been with the game since the beginning, who really understand the game inside and out, and so I thought I was on a plane journey. And I thought, okay, why don't I just write a book? Write everything I know, dump everything down into one book. And I didn't stop writing the book. It was like 18 hours on a plane. And I wrote for an entire 18 hours, I was writing the book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Same thing happened on the way back. So writing the book. So that was the first book that I wrote, the BustTheNet Football Manager's Guide. And please, sue me for having. I mean, there's one thing I can't do is come up with creative names for anything. So I was like, oh God, what am I doing? Then I wrote the book, and the next thing I know, the book was I passed the book around to people. I asked them for their opinions. So there were quite a few people who said you should let this book, give it out, get it out there, get people to read the book because it's really detailed. So, yeah, and the book I've also updated the book as well. And then after that, I was updating the book, and I realized, oh my God, if I keep updating this book is going to be 400 pages long. And it's like, so I decided, okay, stop. So I started a second book. So I finished the second book as a thank you to all those people who supported me with the first book, or who have been supporting me for a really long time. Some of them have been supporting me since 2005.
Oh, wow.
With words, with gestures. Actually, to be honest, my first book was written 5 years ago on the forums. I don't think many people know about it. The first book I wrote was called the FM Bible. It was a compilation of some of the best threads on the forums, and I released it as a PDF a long time ago. And so now then I wrote the new book, this one, and then another one, which is basically about LLM and training. And that book was also released as a thank you to a lot of people. So, and now I'm working on my third book, which is going to be looking at managerial styles in the game itself, because I want to show that you can actually be a Jose Mourinho, or you can be a Harry Redknapp. You can be. There's so many ways you can approach the game, and the thing is that if you look around the scene, you'll find people playing the game in a host of ways that you would not think is possible. So I want to show that that's possible with the next book.
I mean, you talk about different ways to play the game. How do you play the game?
Okay, that's a good question. Until today, I'm still trying to figure that part out because you see, okay, on YouTube, it's YouTube.
Yeah, of course.
It's like entertainment. You want to show, oh, you're cool. I mean, I hate that sometimes because honestly, I want to show that there are so many ways to play the game, which is why I came up with the show, the FM Tactics Show. Generally, it's looking at other people's tactics as well, and so I wanted to focus on how I play as well. So the way I play the game is I like to keep things simple. I don't like to overcomplicate things. If anybody has followed me in the past, they will know that I'm the one tactic kind of guy, right? So I like to stick to one tactic for the whole season. And my favorite tactic since I played FM, I mean, if you don't count the years when I was doing super tactics, My favorite tactic is actually the 4-3-1-2. It's always been the 4-3-1-2. So I always play the 4-3-1-2, and it's the same way. I play it the same way. I've been playing it the same way for the last, I can't even remember. Yeah, since we had Eric Cantona. Yeah, something like that. I mean, like Eric Cantona wasn't in a three, but he was a withdrawn striker. But yeah, I've been playing that way. So I play the game as simple a way as possible. I don't like to use too many PIs unless it's specifically tailored to a player who, if he can't dribble the ball, I just tell him don't dribble the ball. And other than that, yeah, I like to play an attacking brand of football. I just love scoring goals and selling players and making money in the game, all that immersion value that goes into the game.
Now, you spoke about the ball-winning midfielder guy did at the very, very start. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a fan of ball-winning midfield in the early days, but
Mm-hmm.
FM17, my favourite position, hand down, is the ball-winning midfielder. I
Mm-hmm.
never really used it, but I listened to the Deep Line podcast and then a tactic special. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
guys spoke about the ball-winning midfielder being very
Mm-hmm.
effective this year. And ever since then, it's my favourite position. Is it a position you were always fond of, hence why you did the guide, or...
Well, this is a good question because in FM15, a ball winning midfielder was not bad. He was still good. In fact, my 4-3-1-2 featured two ball winning midfielders
All right.
on either flank. It was a deadly combination because I had so much security in my 4-3-1-2. I could turn my fullbacks into wingbacks, and I was scoring goals for fun in FM15. In fact, the run on FM15 was crazy. So on FM16, same thing happened again. Now in FM17, the FM Tactics show? I mean, a couple of episodes from now. No, I'm not trying to plug my own show, but
No, please do, please do.
I've got a 4-4-2 with two ball-winning midfielders in the middle,
Yeah.
playing against Manchester United. So basically, I'm playing a 4-4-2 against Manchester United's 4-2-3-1. Now, on paper, I should lose that game because my team isn't that good. But I've got a beast of a ball-winning midfielder in Abel Calado. So I've already played the games, and I can tell you this much. I love the ball-winning midfielder, but you really have to get the right player for that role. You get the wrong player for that role, and it's a red card.
I used to find in the old FMs, in my opinion, they used to always get dragged out of position because I used to feel like they run around like headless chickens. But I just feel this year the player roles have been a lot more better this year than in previous years. You know, little things like the complete forward is very, very effective this year. The complete wing back is very effective. I find the inside forward is not quite as effective as it used to be, which I like, because the inside forward I found before was very overpowered. You know, you used to put someone out wide, inside forward, then bang you 25 goals a season, which you still get. But little things like having an advanced playmaker on the wing or a winger on the wing, I find that's been a lot more effective now. So I think SI are slowly but surely getting so much better in regards to the ball-winning midfielders, the half-backs, etc. It's really good to see. I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, the SI have done a good job in terms of balancing the roles. You find that it's a very tricky tightrope to walk for them because they can't make. I know some people might complain that certain roles don't work the way they want to, but honestly, but the thing is, when I look at their tactics, they've got so many PIs there, and I'm going, okay, how do you know the tactic and role is not working correctly?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you stuck in all these PIs and TIs. Basically, you've gone into the game and become Jose Mourinho. Okay,
The Tinkerman.
The game is like this. If you're gonna be the kind of manager that gives a lot of PIs and TIs to a player, you are being Jose Mourinho. Don't. There's no. No, or Rafa Benitez. Pick one of them and you are it. Okay, because these were two managers who in real life would give players a lot of instructions. So when they go out there, you basically giving them very little latitude to do something. I'll give you a real life example is Lucas Leiva for Liverpool. When he was a youngster, he was supposed to be a top player in Brazil. Everybody was excited when he came to Liverpool. I mean, if you check back to his early days, he was actually scoring goals in Brazil. He comes to Liverpool, joins the club. The next thing you know, and then when Rafa Benitez is there, he goes, "Okay, you are now a ball-winning midfielder. You stay behind, and that's what you do." Then that was it. So the thing is that if you want to play the game, the roles you have to understand how the roles work. And SI did a really good job this year. I mean, I think they're still it's something that they are trying to do all the time. They want to make sure that the roles play the way they're meant to. The inside forward had a problem. I think these guys had dribbling was overpowered at one time. So these guys just cut in and become a choo-choo train.
I agree.
So I think it's much better, and I like it. Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're from Malaysia. In terms of popularity for the game, was the game very popular over in Malaysia at all, or?
Actually, the funny thing about this game was, I picked it up in Malaysia itself. So I'm from Singapore, and I went to visit a friend in Malaysia when I was like 19. I was in university. I just said, I recall I had just graduated from university. I was about 19 years old, and I went to 19 would that make me graduate? I was 21, sorry. So I went to his house, and he's Malaysian, and he had Championship Manager on his computer screen, and that's how I started playing the game. I learned it from a guy in Malaysia, and it's quite popular, I would say, because when I ended up working in ESPN or in Singapore, another guy that would go and talk about the game as well. So Football Manager, back then it started because I think it was still Championship Manager, 0304. Yeah. So it's a reasonably popular game. I have quite a few viewers from Malaysia and Singapore as well. But I focus. But the problem with the FM game is the Asian leagues themselves, not really the database. It could do with some improvement. But it's a big ask. It's a lot of work to do. So I'm guess that they're getting to it. Yeah.
So in terms of Football Manager, when did you start playing the game?
Oh yeah, 21. When I was 21 years old, I just graduated.
How long ago was that? What we asking?
Oh God, don't ask. I can't count that far.
was it still?
I should be. It's about 20. I think 29 years I've been playing the game.
Oh wow! So you've played the game then for a long while then.
I've been playing the game since the first edition of the game.
Oh wow! I didn't. To be honest, with you, man,
I can't remember. It was either the first or the second edition. I remember the disc was a gigantic piece of shit. The whole loading time was phenomenal. It's like I couldn't even afford the computer back then. I had to buy computers myself, and I had to go to my friend's house, literally in another country. Can you believe that? I had to get a passport just to play football, Championship Manager those days.
That's commitment. That is commitment to the game.
Yeah, so it was my first experience with the game, and it was that iconic red flashing screen whenever you score a goal. I mean, I only ever used to play Liverpool as well, and I think my first game, I think it was 6 matches in, I got fired from the job. I was
wow!
I smashed my friend's monitor. So I had to go buy a new monitor so I could come back, and then I lost again. I got fired again. I smashed the monitor again. It was an expensive trip. I ended up buying him 2 monitors.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I've been there. I know what it feels like to smash monitors. Trust me, I've done it myself.
Nobody can question your love for Football Manager, can they, at all, judging by the size? You spent more than anyone just to play the game. New monitors, passports, to play tickets, and all sorts just to play the game. So,
you included divorce.
Oh, divorce as well. Oh, there you go. Even better.
Yeah, I used to use the game Football Manager to break up with girls. If I don't like the girl, because back then I was in my, you're in your 20s, so your hormones are going out of control, and you want to date as many women as you can. So I used to wonder, what is the great way for me to turn a girl down? You like the girl, but you don't want to break her feelings. You want to look like a complete jackass that she doesn't want to spend time with you. So I was thinking, I don't want to break up with her, then I'll hurt her feelings. I'll get her to break up with me. Now what do I do? I'll bring Football Manager to bed with me. So that's what I used to do. So I used to put it on the lap, sit on my lap. There's my girlfriend, and there I am playing the game. And
Did it work?
Like, honey, don't work. I got dumped like quite a few women in my life. Well, I pushed it a bit too far. That my ex-wife also divorced me.
All because of Football Manager.
Uh-huh.
No, that is commitment. I like it. I like it a lot. Now, you've got, 3,300 subscribers on YouTube, so congratulations on that, sir. You've gained over 400 in the last 30 days alone, so your channel's growing very, very fast. I mean, what's your hidden success? What's your magic secret? What's the big, what's the main reason why your channel's grown so rapidly?
Well, for one thing, I'm surprised. I mean, like, okay, I'm happy that it's growing, um, but I'm nowhere near the size of like some of the other guys, like Benji and Lelujo, and some of the other guys who got really large channels. For me, when I first started out, I was fixated on what thought the community wanted, right? So I thought they wanted playthrough, so I do a playthrough. I thought they wanted this, so I do this. And I did so many playthroughs. At one point, I had 2 or 3 different playthroughs going on at the same time. And I used to get lots of questions. Like, I would try and put things into the playthrough. Like, I'll do training in a playthrough. I'll do tactics in a playthrough. I'll explain PIs in a playthrough. And then I started realizing a lot of people ask me specific questions. Like, can you explain team shape? Or can you explain this? Can you explain PIs? Can you explain TIs? Can you explain a 4-4-2 or 4-3-1-2? Then I started realizing, hang on a minute. Okay, hang on. How are they going to find all this information in a playthrough? So I decided to do my channel took a different turn. And a lot of it had to do with my Patreons as well. So they're the ones who have been asking stuff. So I have a community that's supporting the channel, and they are the ones who specifically are asking for things. And I do shows they are playing a part in driving the content themselves. So I'm the driver. I'm the driver of the car, but I've got people who are in the back seat giving me instructions.
I
So
mean,
that's how things gone off. Yeah.
I mean, jumping over to your Patreon. I mean, your Patreon is very, very successful. So congratulations. I mean, do you think maybe the reason why it's been successful is the fact that you are so close to your fans, you're very open with your fans, and there's a lot of fan involvement? Or, I mean, there's a lot of guys like myself. I mean, I've just recently opened a Patreon page. There's a lot of guys who've done Patreon for a little while, not really got anywhere. Do you have any advice or tips for people?
I think for the with my Patreon community is driven by. Originally, when I just started with Patreon, it was just simple. I just get a book out. You tell me whether it's good or bad, that kind of stuff. And the next thing you know, I came up with this community that we started growing. And with the Patreon community, I find the most important thing with the Patreon community is engagement. So my Patreon community is, I'm very engaged with them, and there's always a two-way dialogue. They ask me questions, I ask them questions, and they tell me what they want me to do on the shows. And usually we do a lot of, I help a lot of people on Patreon as well, on the Discord channel. And they will, sometimes they have questions, and then if the question is a bit more involved, right, then I do a video on that and I give it to them. So that's how I managed to get the Patreon thing. I'm very surprised it actually took off, because I gave it 6 months. I told myself, if after 6 months this doesn't really work, then we'll have to just say it didn't work. It's not been 6 months. We started in December 2016, and we're still going strong, and it's driven by the community. So the success of the Patreon thing was wholly driven by the community at large.
I mean, you can tell the fact that you are so close to your fans by what I love personally, your tactics series, the FM community series, where you get your fans to give you their tactics, their successful tactics, and you play through it. I mean, how did an idea like that come into your head? Because some of the ideas on your channel are very unique. It's stuff that nobody else has ever thought of or ever done, or maybe people are doing a variation of it now. But when it comes to your thought process into creating an idea, how do you go about doing that? Is it just a eureka moment on the toilet, or after a couple of glasses of whiskey? How does it come about, the thought process?
Yeah, you have to thank McAllen and Johnny Walker. Seriously, I mean, like, for me, that FM Tactics Show was a complete out of the blue, but as well as that, I mean, I have to thank the Patreons themselves because the Patreons themselves are the ones that I can. A lot of it has got to do with engagement with the community. I'm very engaged, and when I find out, some people have sent me PKMs. I get a lot of PKMs. Trust me, I get a huge number of PKMs from my community, and I go through the PKMs, and I analyze the PKMs. I even do shows on their PKMs, which is not available on the public for public access. But it's like somebody's personal safe, and I go into their safe and I tell them what I think. That's when I realized uh, they asked me, how I would play their tactic. That's how it all started, actually, because it was once again community driven.
I mean, that sounds fantastic. I mean, the fact that you take that much time to go to people's individual saves and to look at those saves is fantastic.
I mean, the whole idea behind me starting the channel was very simple. I just wanted to help as many people as I can. Naturally, time, it takes a lot of time. So it's a lot of hours in a day. And that's the reason why the Patreon channel was started, because someone other I'm going to have to find a way to pay for the mortgage, or otherwise I will end up on the side of the streets with a little cup in my hand and going, can so it's going to be it. So Patreon, and it wasn't even my idea to start Patreon. That's a funny thing. Okay. I didn't come up with the idea of Patreon. It was another member of the community. He approached me and I was like, okay, how am I going to release the book? Then he goes, why didn't you Patreon? And I'm like, huh? What's the is Patreon? I'm like, what the hell's this damn thing? Because like, dude, use Patreon. I mean, your book is good because he read the book. He says, look, you can drive it off Patreon if people, and on top of that, it'll be a great way for you to find out whether your book is successful.
So for people who don't know where to buy your book, how to buy your book, where can they buy your book and your tactic guides from?
The book actually is free. Right, so it's just a matter of supporting me on my Patreon channel. So if you support me on my Patreon channel, the moment you make your initial support, which is like only like you do your initial support, you get a link straight to the book, and you get a download link for the book. I'll send you a message, and it includes a download link, and then you can stop supporting the channel. You still keep the book, but of course, if That's it. It's as simple as that.
You've heard it here. You've heard it here first. To get yourself the tactic guide, which is an absolute monster of a tactic guide, all you got to do is become a patron and you'll get it free of charge.
Yeah, that's it. The reason is I'm trying to get people to be part of the community more than just get the book. Honestly, the book is only $5, right? So it's like it's more like become part of the community and then work, and then you become part of a bigger community that's trying to help each other play the game in a way that everyone is helping each other, because we've got a community growing now that I started with watching other people speak, and I've got other people who've gotten really good with the game, and they also look at other people's PKMs too. So the community is now becoming a much more proactive community, and they started creating their own content as well. So that's kind of cool.
Fantastic. Do you have a particular favourite milestone on your YouTube channel? So maybe your first 100 subscribers, your first 1,000, your first 2,000. Is there a particular milestone you look back on you're very, very proud of?
Actually, my milestone is different with YouTube, because it's more like my favorite milestone is when people start sending me messages that things are working for them. That's my favorite milestone.
Yeah.
So like, for example, the whole reason why I got into this was to help people, right? So the reason why I wrote the book was to help people. The reason why I did Patreon was to actually try and get as much information out there so that people struggling with the game can, get better. So I just received a message on YouTube just recently, because I want to show people that there is a really simple way of playing the game, which is don't use any TS, don't use any PS, go in there, get the right players for your tactic, choose the right roles, and have a good day. And somebody just won the Swedish league title after almost wanting to quit the game.
Oh, wow.
And for me, that is a milestone, because now, people are actually enjoying the game, without having to crack their heads, because it's way too much. Sometimes people try too much in the game. They download tactics and they struggle. And it's really simple. I mean, even people who read my book, right? What they do is there's some people that read the last few chapters of the book, like where I get to the building the tactic part. They don't they don't read the first two chapters of the book, which is try and understand the attributes and the roles first. And I'm like, then they come to me and they go like, oh, my tactic doesn't work. And then I go like, dude, did you choose the right player for the right role? No, you didn't. So how do you expect the tactic to work if you didn't do the first part right? So these guys are doing it right. So I'm very happy. So for me, those are milestones.
I've never understood people doing the plug and play tactics because they're not gonna. I've did it before in my younger days, and they never worked for me because, like you just said, the tactic that I'm using is going to be different to the one. So because somebody's using a different team, different players, it's going to work for them. So for me, a plug and play tactic was never something that I haven't tried in the last 3 or 4 years. I did try it like many moons ago, but you still get YouTubers to this day doing plug and play tactics, and to me now I do YouTube now more than ever. It feels like I'm cheating. I mean, if you watch my videos, you see that I change my tactic every other bloody episode because I'm losing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing so bad. You know what I mean? Because and I enjoy that. I enjoy trying to find something to exploit the matches. Not a cheat, but if I can find a tactic where it be a 4-2-3-1 or, for example, on FM17, I found the 4-2-3-1 asymmetric worked really well for me, and I enjoyed doing that. So that's why I've never understood the doing the plug and play, because you're not having the fun, which is the main part of the game for me, is actually building that tactic. I love trying to build a tactic. I've got about 60 different tactics saved on my computer that I haven't even tried using yet. I've just created them and just sitting there waiting for me to get around to giving them a go. I've got 4-4-2s, I've got 3-5-2s, I've got strikerlesses. And I enjoy sometimes I just create a tactic, save it, and never bloody use it. It's just sitting there for me to go back to one day. So, looking back on your series and how to create a tactic and the tactic community guides, I said it before, I'm a big, big fan of them. And long may they continue, I say.
Oh, thank you. I'm just, as long as people find them useful, I'll keep doing them.
For somebody that's as good as you are at creating tactics, have you found the introduction of Prozone to really help you in regards to finding what does and what doesn't work, and the amount of depth that we now get into the stats during and after the game? Has that helped you at all?
Oh, it's a bloody exploit. That's what it is. It's too much. It's so much information there. I mean, like, okay, in the old days, all we had was the match stats, right? So it was like the most stats, you clear-cut chances, which aren't really very, very clear-cut. Okay, and you've got all these shots on target, which are not really shots on target because they were taken like 400 yards away from the goal, some shit like that. Okay, and then you go look at it and go like, oh god, this is match stats. And then we introduce Prozone, and all of a sudden, holy crap, my chances are inside the box. Okay, all I need to do is tweak this guy to this position, and we have key pass combinations, which is, oh my, yeah. So yes, I'll tell you this much: Prozone is a massive addition to the game.
Do you use it a lot?
Yeah, or hell of a lot. I mean,
I don't use it. I don't understand it. I try and look through. I've watched a couple of videos. I've watched Fox in the Box's videos and other guys' videos, and I can never get my head around it. I've got a very simple brain. My brain can't comprehend it.
Yeah, it took me a while as well. Trust me. Okay, I have a very simple brain too. I'm like, there's certain things in Prozone I don't use because I'm like, there's too many dashes and dots there. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
So, dude, what's the point of telling me? So, the one I hate the most is those passes. You click on a player and you see the number of passes is made, and then you click on the map and it shows you where all the passes are made. Okay, in the early days when I looked at it, I went like, what the is this for? I mean, like, damn it, I know he made those passes. I know where those passes were, but it's just too much information. So then over time, what I did was I started with small little pieces. Like, okay, I started with this. I went with the action zones. Then after that, I went with the heat map. Then I went the key pass combination. So I get good at the simple things, and I realized my simple brain can only handle simple approaches. So I kept it simple, and it's worked.
This is why me and you get on, because we've both got simple brains. See.
Yep. Well, I'm not going to tell my wife that because she still thinks she married her. Okay, my wife will probably agree with us actually.
My wife knows I've got a simple brain, so I can't say anything.
My wife keeps like I get so many reminders from my wife all the time because she's like, if she could rename me, she'd probably rename me idiot.
It sounds like your wife and my wife would get along very, very well.
Yeah, but no, we shouldn't let them meet.
No, definitely not. Now, obviously, because you're a bit of a tactical expert, let's say, have you had many or any YouTubers come to you to ask you for advice or tips or anything at all?
Um, First up, I think there are quite a few people who are experts at the game. I'm not the only one.
Of course.
I just happen to have been around the longest, I guess. I probably am being around the longest. Then there was Cleon, and Cleon is more or less he's done what I did in 2014. He's gone into a cave. He'll be back. I'm pretty sure about that.
Cleon's amazing with his tactics,
Yeah.
guide, his playing guide. He's very, very good.
I'm pretty certain he'll be back, but he's gone into a cave of sorts. I did that in 2014. I went 2013, 2014. I went into a cave too. I just dropped off the scene for a while. But as far as have people come to me for advice on stuff? Not really. I mean, not no. I have never received any from other tactical creators.
You may do now. You may do now.
Cool. Yeah, well, the best advice I can give anybody who wants to help people with tactics is, first up, be absolutely sure you know what you're doing. That's it. Because the thing is, the problem with the tactical creator is this. Okay, on the face of it, it looks really simple. It is meant to be simple because what happened, if I'm going to put into simple terms, we had sliders and notches in the beginning. So what the tactical creator is essentially still sliders and notches, but with big little buttons that you can press, which actually sets all the sliders and notches for you. Okay, so that's the tactical creator. The player roles and attributes, these are the unique additions to the game because we wanted to create roles that would have been a combination of all those little sliders and notches on a micro level. And the important thing here is that some of these roles, they've got hard-coded instructions. That's the thing that people might not understand. And for the newer players, it's even more important to come to grips with. And I've seen this on the forums where people ask a question: is the central midfielder on support? If I do close down much more and I tell him to tackle harder, is he going to be the same as the ball-winning midfielder on support? Actually, not really. There's going to be a slight difference. But that slight difference has got to do with their starting position on the pitch, and that will affect everything else. So it affects their closing down. It'll affect their movement or starting movement off the pitch, and it'll affect how they interrelate with the players around them. So yeah, I would suggest that if anybody wants to do the tactical series, they will have to. There's quite a lot, but focus on something. Focus on something you know, right? Like if you're great at making a certain tactic, start with that one first. Then you go from there, and it's a great way to start. Actually, that's how I started. I started with a 4-3-1-2.
I mean, if you look at yourself as a content creator, what do you see as your good and your bad points when it comes to YouTube?
Oh yeah, my bad points, YouTube, a lot, hell of a lot. For one thing, sometimes when it comes to post editing, sometimes I make mistakes. The Nick Madden show, I think something was wrong. I think my son, I can't blame my son, but I should have checked the audio levels properly. But because I didn't have a second monitor at that time, the sound levels were not very good. In terms of the content itself, sometimes I put too much information in there, and I can go very sometimes I just drift off, right? And I make assumptions that people might know what I'm talking about, which is the crazy thing. It happened on so sometimes I've got to go back to basics and explain the basics, then go to something I assume. Sometimes I assume people already know the basics.
Yeah.
And then I jump in and I go, okay, this is what you do. And then my problem is, I've been playing the game for so long that a lot of it is instinctive. Even when I'm coaching people, because I coach others on how to play the game. And I tell them, I say, if you follow a certain process in the game, it'll become instinctive. because that's how I play the game. So there's certain things I always look out for, and the problem is that when I'm doing YouTube videos, that's how I play. It's very instinctive. It's almost arcadey at times, and it's not because of anything else. It's because of things I spot. Then I make the assumption people might see it, and that's my biggest weakness. So I have to work on that. So that's one of the reasons why I've created new shows, which is I've done a whole how-to series right now on how to do stuff. I foresee that show is there are going to be a lot more how-tos going into that one as well.
I mean,
how to not suck at making FM YouTube shows. I should do one too.
I mean, that your how-to guide is very, very popular. I mean, very popular. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of it as and when it comes along. So yeah, keep them coming, my friend.
Thanks. I plan to. Yeah.
So I know, obviously, we've all said it before. Creating YouTube means we don't always get to watch as much content as we would like. I mean, apart from myself, of course, is there anybody on YouTube that you watch religiously, or anybody that you highly recommend? Apart from the usual Lelujos, Loki Dokis, maybe someone that isn't quite as big as them, hopefully.
Well, I was watching The FM for a while. His videos are pretty good as well. The FM has got a very good series of videos that he's been doing for a while now. But I reckon that he hasn't updated it for quite a while. But he had some very, very good shows.
He's actually quit. He's quit YouTube.
Yes, right. Because is a real pity, because he had some very good content going on at one point. And it's a real pity that he's left, because there are not many guys who are doing tactical stuff on YouTube, and I've encountered a new YouTuber. His name is the Bearded Buccaneer.
Yeah,
so He's only got 25 subscribers. It's not bad. It's kind of fun. Especially like the part where he starts off. The first time I heard one of his shows was he started off with a German accent, and I was like laughing because the German accent actually sounded remarkably cool, and it was not bad. But in terms of other tactical YouTube videos, I don't know. I haven't really had. There was only one guy, the FM. He's not there anymore. I'm still waiting on other people to start something. But I actually enjoy watching Lelujo's channel, actually, to be honest, because his videos are pretty cool, and sometimes he does non-FM shows. Those are really cool. Yeah. If you were to look at my YouTube list, it's like I've got Golden FM there. I've got Kick there. I've got What the FM. I've got Jano. So these are the people that I follow. Loki Doki as well. Dr. Benji as well. Yeah.
There's a lad who I recently came across a couple of weeks back, and I'm a big fan of his already. When I first started watching, he had about 5 subscribers. He's now got 60 in the space of a couple of weeks, so he's coming up pretty fast. His name's Gland, Geeland. He's very funny. He does post-match and pre-match interviews with a backdrop, and he's just very, very funny. So in terms of my recommendations, head over to Gland. I promise you will not be disappointed. I'm going to try and shout out my own YouTuber every week, along with you guys. Just try and give a little bit of exposure to the other guys. That's my aim anyway. Whether I can keep up to it, I don't know, but we'll give it a bash.
Cool. I will definitely check out Gland as well, because I like guys. I mean, one of the things I like about some of the YouTube channels, like I've got respect for, is like Dr. Benji. He's got very good intros. I enjoy his intros. Then I enjoy anybody who's done like really nice, cool stuff with their YouTube videos.
I mean, he's got a very dry sense of humour, which I like. I like his dry sense of humour. He did an episode the other day where he had like a bit of a rage moment where he kicked off because he was getting absolutely battered by Watford, and it was hysterical. Just seeing him have a meltdown on camera because he was losing camera. You saw him fling the keyboard and all sorts. It was funny. I liked it. Whenever someone's losing and kicks off, because I do. Whenever I'm losing, whether I'm on camera or off camera, if I'm playing really badly, I start going mad, I start swearing, I start having a temper tantrum. My wife goes, "It's just a game." I go, "It's not a game. It's more than a game. you don't know what it's like."
Man, I should have done the recording of a show. I actually lost my temper. I lost 6-4. I was 4-1 down. Okay. I people don't see this, right? I was 4-1 down in the game. Okay? Inside the first half, I was smashing. I actually busted my lamp.
Wow.
My hand swung. I wasn't recording it. I just went boom. It hit the lamp. The whole lamp dropped. The lamp dropped. My wife got a shock. I said, then she was like, "What the hell's going on? You just bought that lamp." I said, "I don't give a flying fuck." Then I was like, I came back. We came back 4-4. Okay. And I thought, yes, I'm coming back. This is the greatest comeback I've ever pulled off. And I lost 6-4. The other lamp broke.
No. Why
Then
couldn't
the
you
other
be
lamp broke.
recording? I'd love to see you be recording that. That'd have been amazing.
Because I lose too. I mean, like, it was, yeah, rage moments are definitely there. We all have it. I will not deny it. I have it. Okay, I have that as well. Especially when you think you can, you think you've done the right thing in the game, and the really anal things start happening in the game. Like the goalkeeper makes a stupid mistake, or the defender the ball gets past the defender when you purposely put a player there who's supposed to be doing the right thing. Yeah, shit like that happens, I guess.
My problem is arrogance. I'm arrogant. I won't, like, if I'm winning 1-0 or 2-1, I won't go to a counter or contain or defensive. I'll stick to attacking, and then I wonder why I lose 3-2 the last 5 minutes of the game. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, no, I'm going to stick to this tactic, and I shouldn't say that I know I'm going to lose, but I still stick to it. I don't know why. It's just arrogance or just being stupid, one or the other. But I've got a tactic called the wall, which is based like an extremely defensive tactic. It's a 4-1-4-1 tactic. And it works really well at closing games out. And I forget to use it all the time. And then when I lose a game or I draw a game with a late goal, it's like, why the fuck did I use my wall tactic? I'm just like, I want to get 2, I want to get 3, I want to get 4, I want to get more goals. And then it blows up in my face.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, like, I've had those situations where you think that my problem is this, because I think I'm good at tactics, right, as well. So my problem is I go in there, I'm like, yeah, what's the, then I believe hype. Then suddenly, oh, you're good in this, you're that. I'm like, yeah, right. I then get into this image. Yes, you will not beat me. I shall beat you. And I get this arrogance that's freaking bigger than my monitor. My head becomes bigger than my bleeding monitor. Then I go there, and then the first thing happens, I concede 2 goals inside the first 10 minutes. I'm like, what the? It's like, yeah, it happens.
It's like the game can hear us, can't it? When we start saying stuff, it's like the game hears us, so it does it. It's like, I swear they hear what we say sometimes. I really, really do.
That's why I love FM17, because it's the first time I've lost like this. So I was like, I broke something for the first time in a long time on FM17. It never happened before. I had such a peaceful existence. My wife actually thought FM was a very good game for me because it calmed me down. I was instructed to stop raiding with World of Warcraft teams because I was too aggro in those games, because I'm like a warrior, a barbarian. I'm going there and I go to bed becoming a barbarian. And then my wife goes, "Why didn't you play Football Manager? Because you're always happy when you go to bed." I'm like, okay.
And then you lose.
And I lose, yeah.
So now you're a Liverpool fan for your sins, So how did that come about? How did you start to become a Liverpool fan?
It's a family thing, actually. When I was growing up, I think everyone around me was a Liverpool fan. When I was younger, my father and everyone around them. So I more like influence along the way. And as I grew up, I was watching games with John Toshak, Steve Highway, and I loved those games. And it all started family influence.
Do you have a particular favourite player?
Well, for me, my favorite player was Steve Highway.
Really?
Yeah, it was an old-fashioned winger that used to go down the flanks. I mean, I have so many favorite players in the Liverpool squad. I enjoy watching Steve Highway play. Then much later, of course, I had players like I enjoyed watching the defenders play. Then we had John Toshak as well. Then Kenny Dalglish. I have his jersey
Oh,
at
do you
home.
really?
Yeah, I actually went to buy the Crown Paints jersey, the one he wore. It's not the one he actually wore, but it's the similar long sleeve
Yeah.
red jersey for Kenny Dalglish, and I've got that as well. Yeah, so I've got. It's very hard for me to list out one favorite player when I've got so many, because there was a one team: Kenny Dalglish, Kevin Keegan, Steve Highway, yeah, Ian Rush. Yep, definitely. I've got favorite players, a lot of them in the Liverpool squad.
Now, Liverpool had a fairly successful season last year. They finally got themselves into the top four. I'm guessing you're reasonably happy with how last season went.
Well, yes and no, I guess, because I think we started well, and then after that, the same old problem started again. We couldn't unlock sides, or rather, we'd lead and then we'd give them a chance to come back. I mean, Jurgen Klopp should really be playing Football Manager, because you know you do this high press. You got to leave your flanks open. I mean, it happens on Football Manager. Dude, play the game.
I mean, obviously, you guys have been fairly quiet, apart from Robertson, I believe, in the transfer market this summer. Are you concerned? I mean, we're almost out of August, and a lot of guys have got most of their business done already due to wanting to get pre-season football out of the way. Are you concerned at all?
We've got Solanka, we've got Robertson, and we've also got Salah. So there are three players in the team that are new. Okay, so I am concerned that the fans are hoping for another fullback and probably a central midfielder. And there's talk about a striker, but really, honestly, another striker, the way we play, I don't think we need another striker. What we need is the way Jurgen Klopp plays, he doesn't need another striker. He's already got Firmino who drops deep. That's the way they play.
Yeah.
They play with a high. They play with people rushing in from midfield to score. So you don't really find Jurgen Klopp sides having like a 40 goal scorer playing up front. So what Liverpool they were going after Naby Keita, and he's a great player, but he's Guinean. And I was thinking to myself, wow, how many players from Africa do we want? I'm pretty sure Guinean is from Africa as well. So
Yeah.
how many players from Africa do we want? I mean, we've already got Sadio Mane. Then we're gonna get Mohamed Salah. Then we're gonna get a Guinean. Well, I guess then we're gonna be a team that plays once every few seasons. Then
Yeah,
because
African Cup of Nations come around. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, and the African Cups of Nations comes during the peak period in the Premier League, and I'm like, fuck this shit. Don't get somebody else. I mean, like, dude, are the only players we're gonna get from Africa? So I'm in a way, I'm happy we don't have Naby Keita. So, but I'm hoping that Liverpool get a central midfielder. But I'm more concerned with the fact that, like every other Liverpool fan, that Coutinho's agent has met Barcelona in London today. So they just had a meeting today in London. So I'm not sure what has transpired, but Coutinho, apparently, according to some of the news reports, has also filed a transfer request. He wants to leave, and Neymar is, Neymar and him are very good friends. So if Coutinho does go, it'll be a bit of a disappointment for Liverpool. But I sure to hell hope we get like 190 million for him. so please don't sell him for like 45 million or 50 million. If he's gonna go. Yeah.
If we're hearing £50 million plus for Keita, you must be looking at £75-80 million for Coutinho. Sure, Coutinho is an absolute monster of a player, but I wouldn't be surprised for Liverpool to flog him on for sort of £50-60 million, which to me is a lot less. Because he's only young. He's what, 25, 24, 25? He's a very young player. He's very young, but. And to me, for him to go when you've just qualified for the Champions League as well, at least give it another season, find out if you can A, challenge for the title, and B, how you get on in Europe. It just seems a little bit strange to me. Is he angling for a new contract perhaps, or?
No, I don't think so, because I think for him it's more Barcelona are going through a bit of a mini crisis themselves with players moving. There's a potential of players moving in and out of the club. And so they might, I know they're looking for replacements. And if Coutinho does go, yeah, I don't know. I'm just hoping that he stays. But honestly, I'm kind of reached a point with Liverpool where we kind of like there's a bit of resignation, in the club. The money that we get from the sale of Coutinho could help the club. I mean, let's just face it, Jurgen Klopp doesn't exactly spend a lot of money. Okay, he doesn't go there and he did that when he was managing Borussia Dortmund. He didn't go there and plunk like 60 million for a player. He's not going about to do that. So I'm hoping that if we do sell Coutinho, we get a deeper squad in midfield, because Liverpool's problem isn't a single player; it's the lack of depth. If you look at the Liverpool squad themselves, who do they have in central midfield? They already let Lucas Levi go. I mean, that's good. I mean, in a way, it's sad but good, because he probably won't be able to keep up anymore. They've got Jordan Henderson. Jordan Henderson is like a 50-50 here, neither here nor there kind of play. He's neither a super hard tackling player, nor is he a super creative player.
He's a 7 out of 10 player, really. He's just a solid player, really.
And okay, Omre Can, okay, to be honest with people, I mean, I like Omre Can, but seriously, the game we lost against Bournemouth, do you know when I knew we were going to lose? I was watching the game, and when Omre Can was on the side, Liverpool was leading at that point by 3 goals. Omre Can went to ground, took all of 4 minutes to get up. I turned around, told my friends we're going to lose. They asked by how much. I said as many goals as Omre Can is going to allow today, because Omre Can went missing in the game. See, this is another problem with Liverpool. We've got a very unreliable central midfield at the moment. So if Liverpool were to sell, I mean, let's just face it. Okay, Coutinho doesn't tackle. So if we have we get another central midfielder. We got Solanke right now. That's good news. So I'm thinking Liverpool needs a lot more depth, and maybe the money might be good. Really, it's going to take a lot longer, and we don't even have a left back. Come on, James Milner, he's good, yes, but who's his cover?
So, I mean, if you had to pick, say, 3 players, 3 realistic signings for Liverpool to make, who would you pick?
Oh, I don't know. The one thing about me is that over the years, I've done that thing as well. I would love to have this player. I would love to have that player. I would love to have this player. I rather look at the roles, because every time I look at this player, that player, this player, it's actually the players they're looking at in the market, and we don't get it. They never get those players. I'm like, I've jinxed my own club, so I'm not going to look at players anymore. I've done it. It's always happened. It's never failed to happen. Yeah, I've jinxed Liverpool, so I'm not going to do it again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the 3 players I think Liverpool need. Liverpool need a central defender. Liverpool need a ball-winning midfielder. Basically, an all-round base central midfielder who can win the ball, really hard at working, and doesn't lose the ball very often. So basically, we need somebody who's got good first touch, as well as strong tackling in midfield, and they need a left back.
What's your predictions for next season, or rather this season, should we say?
I think Liverpool are going to finish out of the Champions League spots.
You think so?
Yeah, I have a bad feeling, because Man City have strengthened.
Yeah.
Chelsea haven't strengthened. That's the good news for the rest of the league. Chelsea haven't really strengthened. Conte is now pretty upset because they're not getting enough players in for next season, and Chelsea didn't have a Champions League last season to worry about either. Remember, if I'm not mistaken, I think they didn't play Champions League. Yeah,
no,
so they didn't have Champions. Correct. So they did what Liverpool did 2 seasons or 3 seasons ago when Brendan Rodgers was in charge. Nothing to worry about, mate. We only got to worry about the qualifying or winning the title. So they done that as well. So Chelsea are the only missing ingredient. Manchester United are going big. They're going to get a lot of players. They don't care how much they cost, because that's Jose Mourinho style. Then we got Man City. Then we got Arsenal. They are also in the transfer market. They're also going for big signings as well. They've made one big signing. It's a very good signing for the club. I can't remember his name. I remember that.
Lacazette.
So, Lacazette. Yeah, they got one. Lacazette is so, I guess, but they probably will need 1 or 2 more players in the team. But, yeah, and then of course you've got Spurs, who've got a wonderful under-21 team.
Well, there we go, boys and girls. Another episode of Ben Meets Over With. And if you're a fan of tactics, you would have absolutely loved this show. Absolutely belting show. I could generally spoke all night, but it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning for the bloke. So apologies, buddy, but
Thank you very much. I had a fantastic time on the show today.
thank you. Without any further ado, I'm going to bid you on adieu. Thank you all for your love and support. If you haven't already, smash that like button. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button too. I'm going to link BustTheNet in the description below. If you haven't already, I don't know why you haven't. Head on over to his channel. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Without any further ado, I'm going to bid you adieu. And don't forget, before we go, Dioch.